Thank you very much. You may take your seat. Welcome once again. And I am being told there is representation from most counties in the room and also on the online platform. And just to recognize that there are also several delegations from the county governments in this room today. And I'm being told we have a delegation from Kajiado County, and that we also have a delegation from Nyamira County. We also have a delegation from Tana River County, a delegation from Machakos County, Lamu County, Kakamega County, Makueni County, and we also have a delegation from Kwale County that is actually led by the Deputy Governor, Honorable Josephat Chirema. And we also have another delegation from Bungoma County that is led by the Honorable Governor Kenneth Lusaka. So at this point, I would just like to also recognize that we also have civil society partners in the room. We also have budget facilitators who are actually play a key role in the survey from across the 5 regional budget hubs. So we have the Lake Regional Budget Hub, we have the Rift Valley Regional Budget Hub, we have the Coast Regional Budget Hub, and we also have the youngest kid on the block, the Northern Eastern Region Budget Hub, and you also have the Nairobi Eastern Central Budget Hub, which is where we technically are today. We also have representation from various government agencies. We have representation from the Commission on Administrative Justice, representation from the Council of Governors, and representation from the Parliamentary Budget Office, the Office of the Controller of Budget, and the National Gender and Equality Commission. In addition to that, we also have development partners present in the room from UNICEF, the Royal Norwegian Embassy. And finally, to each and every person, regardless of whether you fall in that category, by the virtue of you being a citizen and being concerned about budget transparency, I am Faith Ann, and I champion budget transparency, and so do each and every person in this room if you have actually gotten this lapel pin. As you are coming in today, there was a board outside there, and the question we were asking is, what does budget transparency mean for you? And also, on Menti, the people who are joining online, we are not forgetting that we have a virtual audience. The same question was also posed. What does budget transparency mean for you? Allow me to read a couple of the comments that came in through the Mentimeter link, because I thought they were really interesting. So someone said that budget transparency means making budget information publicly available. That transparency means visibility, availability, accessibility of the budget documents. The transparency means simplified information that is easily accessible and ready to be used to inform further and or final decisions. The transparency starts from the money which is allocated to be spent without misuse. That it means the publication of budget documents by governments, whether national or county, within the legal timeframes. I don't know what transparency means for you and whether you've had a chance to actually share that either online or on that board. So the board is still out there. And for me, it's to urge you to just take a minute, either as you're coming in or by the time we'll be leaving. Reflect throughout the course of this event today. And as you step out, I hope you either have an answer currently or you will have an answer for what you think budget transparency means for you, what it means for your community, and even what it means for the kind of work that you do, whether you're a health advocate, whether you're championing for better education, and so on. And at International Budget Partnership Kenya, this is a question that we strive to answer every now and then. So what does budget transparency mean? Why is it important? And why are we even doing this kind of work that we're doing around budget transparency, including working on this survey? So 10 years ago, which I actually did the math, I realized it's quite a while back, IBP began checking the availability of budget documents online. By online, I mean on the official county websites. And this was actually, or will be, the first step to getting to this particular point where we are today. So that was from 2015, where it was just merely checking, do we have the annual development plan up on the Makueni website? Do we have the county fiscal strategy paper up on the Kiambu website? Do we have the budget estimates up on the Kwale website? And that was the first step. But later on in 2020, we decided, or rather it became very evident that that was not just enough. Yes, it was a step towards getting counties to be more transparent when you use the results of the findings of that survey to advocate for budget documents to be made available, but that was solely not enough. And so the next step was, yes, we have budget documents available, but what is actually contained in these budget documents? Are they comprehensive? Do we, for instance, have comprehensive revenue information in the program-based budgets? Do the program-based budgets have outputs? Do they have targets? Is it clear what the government is intending to do with these resources that it has collected from the general public, which makes it public finance? And the next step for us was what will be called right now the comprehensiveness check. So we have assessed whether budget documents are available. We have found 6 budget documents on a county website. Then are they comprehensive? So that is where we are today. And the results of the findings of the survey that will be launched here today are premised on those 2 aspects. So number 1, availability, but number 2, comprehensiveness. But even beyond that, in terms of why it matters, for citizens, accessing budget documents or accessing budget information is not just for the sake of accessing, because information is power. That is what we say. We say information is power. And with power, then they are able to, with this power, with this information that they have now obtained, if you know what your government is intending to do, you know when they intend to do it, you're able as a citizen to meaningfully engage when called upon. But even beyond that, you are able to confidently hold your government accountable to what they either promised to do or what you think they should be prioritizing. So for citizens, then this becomes more than just saying, I have accessed my county annual development plan, to being that I have accessed my county annual development plan, I see this is what the government is planning to do, and I also have my ideas with regard to what I consider priority for the community that I come from. But even for government itself, it is also important for them. with regard to the fact that, for instance, counties are entities in themselves, and transparency for counties is also a matter of credibility. So there is the adherence to the legal provisions. By this time, you should have made your documents publicly available. But there is also the fact that you're honoring this social contract and you're creating or building trust between the government and its citizens. And with that, you're able to create ownership. When I look at the budget documents, and I can see myself, when you look at the budget documents and you can see yourself in those documents, it takes you a step further from just seeing yourself completely separate from what the government is doing and actually owning what the government is doing because you are part of that particular county government, for instance. So there is really more to it. And for counties, credibility is not just credibility with citizens, but also credibility with other government agencies. The Controller of Budget also puts out budget implementation reports and reports on counties. It is also credibility with development partners who may be looking to partner with counties. So if your budget documents are up on the website, they're comprehensive, you're providing all the information that is required, then that places you at an edge with all these categories of people. With those few remarks, I would like us to move to answering the question of why we are here today. There are several comments that have been given with regard to what budget transparency means for us. And there are also other questions that we probably have with regard to what budget transparency could look like, or even what it is that either you do not know what you hope that it could look like. So transparency is not an end in itself, but it is an anchor. It is an anchor for accountability, it is an anchor for public participation, and it is also an anchor for credible budgets. At this point, I'd like to invite our colleagues and also the researchers on this budget transparency survey. So we'll be having 3 parts to this presentation. So first up, we will have Rina Atuma. Rina is a budget facilitator from the Coast Regional Budget Hub. But even beyond that, she works with the Population Reference Bureau as she leads their health financing work. Following her will be Mariam Abdallah. Mariam is also a budget facilitator from the Lake Region Budget Hub and specifically Kisumu County. So Rina is from the Coast Regional Budget Hub and specifically Kwale County. But Mariam is from the Lake Regional Budget Hub. And then to sum that presentation up is the man with, I believe, the Form 34C of where we are at with regards to budget transparency and where counties are at, and that is Kipkorir Biegon. Kipkorir is, works at the International Budget Partnership where he leads the research work at IBP Kenya, and that includes the County Budget Transparency Survey where he is the lead researcher. So I would, at this point, ask you to take your pen and notebooks, note down any questions, any comments you may have, because after this session, we'll have a very, very brief session just to hear from the people in the room and also our audience who are following online on what you think about the presentation, but also just overall questions and comments that you may have. Karibu sana, Rina. A round of applause for our presenters.
Good morning. My name is Rina Atuma. I am a budget facilitator from the Coast Regional Budget Hub. I work for Population Reference Bureau, and I champion for health financing in the 4 coastal counties of Kenya. That is Kwale, Kilifi, Mombasa, and Taita Taveta. So budget transparency is something that is close to my heart, and is something that also helps me to achieve my objectives in the work that I do. And today we are going to look at the results. Faith Han has done a good job to tell us about what the history of the transparency survey and what it has been able to do. But the presentations that you're going to make today will be talking about what the transparency survey really entails, what is the methodology, and then we'll get to the findings, and later on we'll launch and get to also know how the counties have performed. So the theme for today is continued progress. So the theme for today is continued progress in subnational fiscal openness, and it is part of what we should discuss even beyond this room. So we'll go straight into the methodology and looking at how the survey is done. So the County Budget Transparency Survey, first of all, measures availability of budget documents. Then you'll ask yourself, how do you measure that availability? We look at availability of budget documents in the official county website. And then the next thing that the survey looks at is comprehensiveness. So on availability, it will check 11 key budget documents that must be produced. In the next slide, we'll get to know what these documents are. And on comprehensiveness, we look at 8 publicly available key budget documents, which are assessed using 94 key indicators. And I'll give an example of comprehensiveness. For example, one of the questions that is asked in the survey is, does the department provide, for example, in the program-based budget, has the department provide information on the staff establishment? Then you'll ask yourself, why should a department provide information on staff establishment? It is important because it will help you program better. You'll get to understand how many human resources do you have, in which cadres, how much do you pay them. If you want to employ additional human resource, how much do you require? So by providing that information, you're already justifying why you require additional resources. So it becomes comprehensive. Then the next step, we look at the documents that I've mentioned. We've talked about 8 documents, and here the survey will look at the first document being the County Integrated Development Plan. Then we have the Annual Development Plan. We have the approved program-based budget, the County Fiscal Strategy Paper, the County Budget Review and Outlook Paper, the Citizens Budget, the Finance Act, and lastly, the quarterly implementation reports. They become 11 because the quarterly implementation reports are supposed to be 4. So this is 4 documents produced in, during an implementation period in the year. So the next step is also to check on what happens behind the scenes. So how did we get here? And even when we'll be launching the results, what is the methodology that the survey use? First, it is a simple process because we look at documents as per how they are required to be produced in law. And this survey is done by independent civil society organizations who we categorize them as researchers. And then there's a next step. After they've done the research, we have reviewers who would look at what the researchers have been able to do. And then lastly, there's another step for the senior reviewers to check on the documents produced. And then there's a government responsibility on that side. Once the results are out on availability, the government will be given 2 weeks to check the information, and all 47 county governments will be communicated to at the same time to check on the information that has been produced. On comprehensiveness, the government is given 1 month to be able to respond to the preliminary findings of the survey. Then the next step, or the methodology, is also fair. Fair, by this case, we mean it's applied comparatively across all the 47 counties. So there's no county that is given special consideration. This survey it uses a fair way of assessing all the 47 counties, and also references the Public Finance Management Act. So these documents are already required by law to be produced, and that promotes fairness. Then lastly, the information for the survey, which after the launch you'll also get to access, is open and verifiable. So even the raw data that goes into producing the report will be available on the official website for the International Budget Partnership. So you can be able to access that, you can be able to see how we got to having the results, and also be able to analyze. I would urge us to kindly utilize the results. So I'm going to call in Mariam to take us through some of the findings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, His Excellencies, the governors, dignitaries, members of the Fourth Estate, civil society organizations. Good morning. I'll be presenting the findings of the County Budget Transparency Survey 2023, and these are the findings. So one, we are looking at the trends in terms of the budget documents that were made publicly available. And as you can see on your screens, we have all the 47 counties presented there. For the County Integrated Development Plan, we had 45 counties that published the County Integrated Development Plan, but we had 2 counties that did not publish. And this is Nakuru County and Homa Bay County. They did not publish their County Integrated Development Plan online. Then we also have the Annual Development Plan. We had 46 counties that presented or made publicly available their documents. So 1 county only, that was Embu. Embu County did not publish their documents online, but there has been a significant improvement across all the 47 counties. And this is something to note in the 2023 County Budget Transparency Survey results. So as you can see on your chart, there are 2 key budget documents, that is the Citizens Budget and the Finance Act. As much as we've had improvements in these documents, it's still to note that they are the least in terms of being published online by all the 47 counties. So we want to urge all the 47 counties to ensure that these budget documents are publicly made available. So this shows the significant improvement we've had across all the 47 counties. And you can see we've done this survey from 2015 as earlier stated, but the significant improvement has been seen since 2020. And now in 2023, we've had a significant improvement of 15 points. And that rates us at 56 points. You can clap where necessary. Thank you so much. Yeah, so there has been improvements, and we've seen these improvements in 38 counties. And this is something to really applaud all the counties. Yeah. So those are the key highlights. The improvements is in all the 38 counties. And we've had 13 counties that managed to publish all the 11 budget documents. And that is something also to take note of. So we had 3 counties in 2022 only, but this time we've had 11 that have managed to make available their budget documents online. Then we have 25 counties that published all the required, the 4 quarterly budget implementation reports compared to 8 in the CBTS 2022. And this is something to note also, because quarterly implementation reports are very key in our work in terms of service delivery and also in ensuring that at the end of the day we have transparency in the counties in the way that our monies are used. Then we've had also improvements in all the regional economic blocks, and we will take note of some of the regional blocks that have really contributed in terms of these improvements. So these are some of the gains. We have Narok and Kajiado County that have earned us 71 points. That is something to give an applause, from 18 in 2022 and now to 71. So it means there is something very good the Narok and Kajiado County are doing that we need to learn from. So Narok and Kajiado, very good. And they have earned themselves a positive of 53 points. Then we also have the leading county, that is the regional block, that is the southern eastern Kenya, who have earned us 75 points, and they are the leading actually. Yeah. Although the change is only by 11, but it is something to note. And Makueni County has really improved, I must say that, as one of the counties in the regional blocks. Thank you so much. So this is the level of budget information in terms of comprehensiveness. So we don't only check on availability, but we also check on comprehensive. How comprehensive are those budget documents? Now, if you look across all the budget documents, the 11, we've had quite an improvement in terms of the amount of information that is placed in those budget documents, or that is put in those budget documents. So you can see for the county budget review and outlook paper, the CIDPs, the Finance Act, we've had quite a significant improvement compared to the previous years. But these three budget documents, that is the quarterly budget implementation report, approved program-based budget, and the citizens' budget, remain to be the least in terms of comprehensiveness, the amount of information that is put. And just to give us a brief, is that for the quarterly implementation reports, you realize that some counties will publish the financial information but miss out on the non-financial information, which is very key when we are looking at service delivery, because we'll be looking at targets and also the baseline. So quarterly budget implementation reports is something to watch out for the counties. Please make sure that we have enough information. Then on the approved program-based budget, we have almost 44% of the counties did not put in capital projects, did not ensure that they have capital projects in the approved program-based budget, which is something to note in that specific document. Please, for the counties, make sure you include the capital projects. Thank you. So allow me to welcome our next presenter, who is our senior researcher, Mr. Kipkorir Biegon. Thank you.
Good morning, and all protocols are observed. My name is Kipkorir Biegon, and I wish to thank my colleagues who have been able to give us their findings, and I will pick from where they have left. So this survey is clear that there is continued progress, and that is the theme, or that is the title that we have given the report of these findings, that we have seen that 8 counties improving compared to the County Budget Transparency Survey 2022. That is something that is notable, that 8 counties were able to improve. And also the improvements are also observable across the country. You could see counties like Kajiado, Narok, improving, we have Bungoma, quite a number of counties have really improved. And also notable, or I must also note that from these counties which have improved, or the results which we have been given, that the current score is 56 out of 100 points, which is a 15 plus points compared to the previous survey, is both contributed by counties that are making key budget documents publicly available, and also the comprehensiveness or the quality of the information that is in these key budget documents. And from where it was left, so I'll just pick from the next comprehensiveness, which is on the public participation. On public participation, as you just can see, that probably this is also an area that counties need to still do more, because the average is only 15 out of 100 points. However, there is improvement compared to the previous survey 2022, when public participation score was 10. There is still very low. And how do we assess public participation? So we only assess the feedback. So we don't go to the county and check how they do public participation, but what information do they provide in these key budget documents that public are able to see. When public participation is done, the counties provide this feedback on these documents. For instance, the 2023 survey evaluated the public participation information on 4 key budget documents. These include the County Integrated Development Plan, Annual Development Plan, County Fiscal Strategy Paper, and Approved Program-Based Budget. just trying to assess how they provide that feedback. Like these are the inputs that came from the public, and this is what we have picked, and what kind of decisions does such feedback inform, and public are able to follow such decisions. As you can also see that the leading county has 65 out of 100 points on public participation, and that is Kwale County, which it's, you can say it's somewhat good, but still very low. Though we have never reached, or no county had ever reached that before. So we have one county at least that is scoring B on that category. As you can see, there are 16 counties which did not provide any information on public participation, despite even publishing some of the key budget documents that were assessed on the component of public participation, which also is still a challenge that counties also must be able to pick up that. And these are the results, which I know everyone has been waiting for. And as you can see, the top county is Kwale, and for the yes, so Kwale has been able to emerge as the leading county, providing 81 out of 100 points. So in the last surveys, we have never, or no county has ever reached or provided more than 80 out of 100 points. But today we have Kwale really providing, which we can say is the most comprehensive information on that point, and actually it's scoring an A for that case. It's also very clear. As you can see, there are more greens or towards the green side, and there are 22 counties that have scored over 60 out of 100 points, which means we have quite some good information that counties are providing. And also it's also up to us as citizens to be able to use that information. But we are still asking government also to, because there is no county which also has scored or has provided all the information. It's only at the 81, which is that's the leading county, meaning there's still a cap of 19 out of 100 points. On the same note, you can see also on the lower side that there are counties that have not been able to perform well, but there are also, we don't have any zero this round. In 2022 survey, we had 4 counties that scored 0. But today we have no county scoring 0. At least only one county which has scored, which is in the category of E. That is below 21 out of 100 points. That is Trans Nzoia County. But it is just short by 1 point to have joined the better category, which also the other counties. Also on this survey, however, there were improvements in 38 counties. There are also counties which regressed. So there are counties that stopped publishing some key budget documents, and they were able to fall back from where they were in the previous survey. But there are few counties which, when you get the report, you will be able to read and also try to understand why those counties slightly regressed. But these are the findings, and the current state of transparency for counties is 56 out of 100, which we are really proud of, because at least we are more than halfway. And what can be done? So what are we asking all of us here who are here today to do? The first point is directly to the government. I see Governor Lusaka is here. And this is also directly to all the counties, that no county has scored more than, like, has provided all the information. Like, there's no county that has scored 100. Meaning all counties do have room for improvement. And we're asking, provide information that is still missing. Also, the survey also shows that 27% of key budget documents are still not produced. So 27% are still not produced. Of course, those are contributed by most of the counties which have not published all the key budget documents. As we have said, that 13 counties published all the 11 in the 2023 survey. So we're asking, please publish all the key budget documents and also provide more comprehensive information. There are also challenges. There are challenges in some key budget documents, especially that falls under approval stage. These are the documents that include approved program-based budgets, citizen budgets, and also quarterly budget implementation reports. These documents did not, as it was shown, it did not really provide most comprehensive information. They are just almost halfway, like providing 50% or 50 out of 100 points, meaning 50 out of 100 points is not provided in these key budget documents that include citizen budgets, approved program-based budgets, and implementation reports. And you have heard, if citizens do not have the information on implementation, it's hard for them to be able to track or to follow what government is committing to implement in the years that are or the priorities that citizens are also trying to achieve. So we're asking government, please publish all the information, provide more comprehensive information, because that is the first step, or that's the prerequisite step that citizens are able to follow accountability and everything. The second is, let's continue creating peer learning platforms. We have observed that there are improvements in regional economic blocks. These regional economic blocks, there are counties that are performing well. For instance, when you go to southeastern Kenya, which has Makueni, Kitui, and Machakos, they are all in green, and they are also providing good information. For example, in public participation, Makueni and Kwale were able to provide also quite good information or good practices that can be borrowed. If counties can create or can utilize those counties which are also providing information, then they can be able to really improve. Even a county that has performed well, sometimes it's not across all the budget documents. There are counties that are also performing well in other budget documents, which counties can be able to learn and be able to share those practices. Our regional budget hubs are also, and budget facilitators are also trying their best also to be able to also engage government and be able to utilize, also provide those good practices. The survey also has documented the good practices that can be utilized on that. And when we make our report publicly available, then those findings or those good practices are also available. The third point is that we are also committing as IBB Kenya and also our supporters or our development partners that we will be able to do more. So we will be able to provide direct support to government, especially on the comprehensiveness. Because once the information budget documents are published, we need to see the information, and that's where we have seen there are quite a number of challenges on that side, and we are committing that over the coming years we will be able to do more to provide direct support. That, for example, we develop kites, for example, for citizen budgets and also the approved program-based budgets, which can be able to provide kites on how counties can be able to improve. Specifically, maybe during the points when key budget documents are being developed, we can also be very useful in that in those times, so that the information that public are assessing is comprehensive and they are able to follow their priorities and also what the counties are doing. We also urge the multi-stakeholder partnership, so we know in this room there are those people who are interested or who are working in health, who are working in sector-specific, for instance, education and all that. It's also important. Also, my colleague was able to talk about that she works in health financing, meaning most of the information that she requires might probably be in the health sector or health department. So we will but for the department to fight this, we need probably more open that has been done in some instances, and probably for the sector should be, for instance, the department for tissue, department for all the departments, the county should be able to provide such information for citizens to be able to utilize. And those are just our top 4, but there are other things that also we can do to improve budget transparency. And this is just the map to represent the results that we have just presented. And as you see, in 2022, the map still had quite a number of reds, but now we'll have one. The red is the one which is still performing poorly or scoring a category of 0 to 20 out of 100 points, which is an E. And our target or counties should be able to strive or to be able to try to be in the dark green. Where Kwale is, if that probably will happen, then we'll consider that there is enough information. So we can't say there is enough information until we somehow reach that state. And we are still asking or urging all of us to be able to push our counties or ask our counties to be able to provide the information. And once the report is launched, you will be able to find the report. So you'll be able to find the report on our website, and you can be able to read all the findings that in the report. We also have specific county summaries for each county. So in these specific county summaries, there are key findings for each county. In addition, there are also key recommendations or key action points that counties can be able to where they can be able to improve. It also shows where the information is not provided. In those specific, it's very simple. It's one leaf which is printed on both sides, which you can be able to also utilize and be able to improve where the areas that have been highlighted. Also with this survey, it also has some modular business, which is also going to be important for, if you are working in health, there is a modular biz for health, and also supplementary budgets. We know counties do pass supplementary budgets, but it's still an area that is still also not transparent. And also there is a modular piece on that, which will also be on our website. On timeliness, also all these key budget documents are required to be published on time. However, our survey did not include in the overall findings. It's still on a test trial, and we'll also find a report on that, which just shows what counties should need to produce or to publish these budget documents on time. Then also a document that also shows progress or trying to document good practices in the previous surveys and also what has been happening in the counties in the websites. Lastly, join us in this part where we are asking counties to be transparent. We are not yet there, and also you look at the reports in our website, which is www.internationalbudget.org. And when you get the reports, please utilize the reports, and we'll also be able to engage more. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Another round of applause for the presenters. Almost a year's worth of work summarized in how many slides? Less than 20. Thank you very much, Kip and team, for sharing the findings, and also the wonderful researchers who are part of this great survey. I know there are a lot of questions. I myself have a lot of questions. How do we get to the dark green? Where is my county on that bar graph? I am from Nakuru County. We have 62 points. Where is your county? Have you spotted your county? And how do you get to the dark green? What did Kwale do that was very significant that got them there? So actually on that note, let us appreciate Kwale County one more time for topping the list. Let us also appreciate number 2. We will not be Kenyans if we do not appreciate top 3. Number 2, which was Makueni County. And number 3, and the governor is present in this room, Bungoma County. We celebrate those 3 counties. We celebrate everyone who improved. We celebrate even the regional blocks, the southeastern block, which topped the other regional economic blocks. So you can also appreciate yourselves. There are a lot of fasts in this particular survey, the findings that have just been presented. So the first the first time we don't have a county that has 0. So also the first time we have 13 counties from 3 counties publishing all the 11 key budget documents. And even as you consolidate your comments and questions, we'll give very few people, make them very concise. Just 3 things from me. And I choose to look at the glass half full because really we are past the halfway mark across board. So with regard to the available documents, with regard to the overall budget transparency survey score, with regard to the comprehensiveness of the 11 key budget documents that were assessed, with the exception of the citizen budget, which is almost there, almost at the 50% mark when it comes to its comprehensiveness. And I think number two is a question I've just asked at the beginning. How do we get to the A point? What are some of the motivations for budget transparency? And this is me also just mentioning that as IBP Kenya, we asked ourselves this question, I think during the last launch, and embarked on a research just to try and find out what motivates counties to be transparent? What motivated the 13 counties to make available all the 11 budget documents? What motivates counties to provide information on public participation, right? And I know that is a conversation that is ongoing. The jury is probably out on what constitutes meaningful public participation. Why are we assessing the information on public participation even to start with, right? We say the public participation should happen, but when you look at the transparency survey, we are assessing feedback on public participation. One of the things that most civil society actors and citizens in general will just highlight as a struggle is that we do not get feedback for when we engage them. So why should I engage? I am not sure if the government has taken my input. I don't know if it was taken, why it was taken, or if it was not taken, why it was not taken up. So these are just some of the things that we try to assess when it comes to the information on public participation, because at the end of the day, we are giving this information, rather this information is being made available so that people are able to engage meaningfully, and it's not just for the information to be up there. So then the closing the loop kind to that end would look like feedback. It would look like, and maybe that is what constitutes meaningful engagement, that I get feedback when I participate, or that there is adequate representation in the room, that everyone feels part of the decision making, or that we have adequate information on the kind of decision the government is giving, and so on. So at this point, I'd like to invite John Kinuthia, Senior Program Officer at IBP Kenya, just to take us through the comments and questions session for the next 10 minutes. We'll also take a couple from our online audience. So the people who are listening in and joining online, be on standby if you have a comment or a question.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Just because your county was not number one today does not mean you should be sad. My name is John Kinuthia. I work with IBP Kenya. And my session is going to be to hear a couple of thoughts from the room. Because as you saw the results, and even earlier as you walked in, there was a question that was being shown on the screen on what does transparency mean for you. But it's not just for you as an individual, but it's also for your communities, because many of us work with communities, whether you're in government or in the civil society or in the private sectors, we serve communities. But also what it might mean for your organization. So we have quite a team that is online, about 170 people online. So we will also listen to some of the comments, and I'm really happy there are colleagues who are picking up the comments that are online, but we'll also get to hear from some of us in the room. Today, for a difference, in Kenya we always say, ask questions, no comments. So today I'll flip it. Today I want to hear your comments. Don't ask questions. Today I am opening it up. Kenyans love giving comments. So today is give your comments. And so we'll get to hear from a couple of us. My colleague Cuba has microphones, so he will move around the room. And for me, to start very personally, I come from a place called Timboroa up in the highlands. We are on the boundary of Baringo and Uasin Gishu County. The railway cuts Timboroa in half. And so Baringo and Uasin Gishu are home for me. when I looked at the table that Kip shared, Uasin Gishu is number 3 from the bottom. And Baringo is doing very well. So today I am identifying as a resident of Baringo County until the next survey. All right. So I will take a couple of comments from the room, so you can put your hand up. I'll only take 3 because I've been given 10 minutes, and it has to be a sharp comment. So what do you think when you look at the results? What does it mean for you? What does it mean for the communities you work for? What does it mean, even if you are not in government, what does it mean for your engagement with your county governments? So we'll keep it crisp and sharp. If you talk too long, I'll stop you. So Cuba has the microphone, so hands can go up. Who wants to make a comment on the results today and what you've heard so far in the discussion? If no hands go up, you'll continue hearing Timboroa stories. Yes, Martin, you can go first.
Yeah, thanks a lot, John. And yes, my name is Martin Atela from ID Insight. First of all, congratulations to the IBP team for the wonderful job. Maybe just 2 or 3 comments. First is the what if of this information. Once we have enhanced transparency, once we have all these counties publishing all the information we need them to publish, what does this mean for improved governance in our country, right? Can we see this conversation, for instance, transcending beyond the counties to the presentations that we see in Senate, where we hold governors accountable for not only the need for them to publish, but how they use the resources that we give them. So my first comment there is for us to think about moving the conversation beyond the availability of information, the transparency, to how that actually results in better service delivery.
Thank you, Martin. One comment.
Okay.
One comment, so that we can give other people an opportunity. Okay. Any hand on this side? Yes, Osman?
Yeah.
Sorry, Osman's microphone is not working. Okay, can go ahead. Yes.
Osman, I wanted to ask, is there a legal implication on it's provided in the Constitution, the counties which might not be doing the public participation and the transparency? Will there be a stage where the national government will stop the funding from the county government? Because it's about accountability. Yeah. Transparency is accountability. And if there is no participation and accountability, will there be a stage?
Okay, so that's a question of what is the implication for those who are in the yellow and in the red. So if counties don't provide information, are there legal implications? So it's an accountability question as he summed it up at the end. One last one, and hopefully this is a lady, please. One last one in the room. Yes, Josephine. Right there. Sorry, Josephine, you can stand. Cuba is looking for you. No, if it doesn't work there, Josephine, just come. Yeah. You can come up here. It has to work. It has to work. If it doesn't work there, you just come here.
To be
A clap for her as she comes.
I think I have 45 seconds because I used 15 coming this way. So my comment is this. We have seen one green. What will happen when we have the entire map of Kenya being green? What will mean to addressing inequalities that we see in our own counties? So that is my simple comment. Thank you.
Thank you. So if the map turns completely green, does that mean we'll have achieved the level of especially fiscal governance that we all should like to see? So that's an internal question for all of us to reflect on. So we have a couple of interesting comments also online that are coming in. Pauline Oyondi, online, is speaking about the challenge of timely dissemination of information. So there's improvement when it comes to the availability of the documents, but are they usually available on time to be able to facilitate conversations between government and citizens, but also a conversation between the executive and the county assemblies? Mahat Abdi says, and this is very directed at the leaders in our counties, if our governors and leaders in general will use these results, basically the documents to the letter, then counties can do much better in terms of development. So thinking of transparency not just as availing information, but as a facilitator of conversations about development. So it's a really good comment from Mahat. And then Salim Barnabas Ochango says there's an improvement from the presentation, but we still need to urge duty bearers why it is important to share crucial documents with citizens for following up and monitoring the implementation of the budgets themselves. So his comment is very focused on the aspect of monitoring budget implementation. So it's not just about the money being allocated, but also whether the money is actually providing the services and the goods that they are supposed to. I'll just take one comment online. I don't know whether we're able to unmute on Zoom somebody called Mike Joseph. Is it possible to do that?
Yes.
Mike.
Yes, John.
Yes. So is that Mike? Mike Joseph.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Does that mean they've left Zoom? Okay, please allow me to stop there because of time. We'll take, at least we've had a couple of thoughts from the people online, and so I'll stop there, and I hope that as the discussion continues, especially on the calls to action that keep shared, on the need for us to think about how to get all counties to the green, on peer learning, a lot of good practices across. So even in this room, I hope that conversation can start. I do see the Deputy Governor of Kwale getting a lot of questions on how they got to the green, on why their public participation is so good. So let's start that conversation at that level. So asanteni sana and have a good deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John, and to all who have shared their comments. The advantage of joining now this meeting virtually is you're able to put your comments in the chat box. We don't have the equivalent of that here in the room, but we do have something outside there on the reflections on what budget transparency means for you. So there's also an opportunity to just share something that will be recorded and will be remembered, that during the launch of the 2023 County Budget Transparency Survey, this point was shared, or this comment was shared. I really like the comments that have been made, because then I also think they're a great segue to our next session. And now that at that ideal point where we have full budget transparency, all counties are green, what now? And also, if we don't get there, at least immediately, what are the consequences of that, if any? And to share his remarks, but also to guide us to the next session, is Dr. Abraham Rugo Muriu, also known as Dr. AMS. He's the Executive Director of IBP Kenya, and he's also a seasoned PFM specialist and devolution specialist as well. And I understand he's also a cyclist. Please help me welcome Dr. Abraham Rugo Muriu.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's true, I'm a cyclist, and if I wasn't here, I will be
No, I shouldn't say this. I'll be at work. I nearly sold a secret, but yes. It's such a joy for me to join us today. And I say this because this is work that is beyond call of duty. This is beyond that we are employed. I consider this a calling. And I see colleagues here who I met, in the days when I was basically just starting off in this journey. I see Con there, Simiu. Today is not the day for stories, but these are people who I met when I had just come from a physics class. By the way, I was to be a teacher of maths and physics. But a friend of mine told me, I think you can make an impact somewhere else. Let me introduce you to something called public policy. I didn't even know what that was. And that turned my life. That is back in 2005. Stop calculating my age. I'm still a young man. Not a youth, but a young man. The rest is history, because I have seen so many young people, and it's very interesting actually, that in this room, just by a show of hands, how many of us are below the age of 35? Not show of hands, please stand up. If you are below 35, please stand up. Kindly just stand up. I want you to see the number of people who are below 35. Excellencies, please look around and just realize it is no longer an old people's job. Let's appreciate them. You have no idea what that means, because the picture of public finance has often been old men, not even women. And I hope you noticed when you looked around that there were more women in that crowd. It was not always like that. So let's appreciate that effort. Your Excellencies, national government representatives, representatives from the Senate, county executives represented here, representative of the different development partners, fellow budget practitioners, my colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to join us today during the launch of the 2023 and to welcome you indeed to one of the days that I deeply, deeply honor. It is not one of the easiest times to be working in the public finance space, because things are difficult. Everywhere you turn, things are difficult. And as one who is involved right in the debates, sometimes more controversial debates than the ones where we are making sense, I know things are difficult. But today we are coming here because there is hope. There is hope when we look at where we have come from. If we were to show you the map in 2015, it was all red. And now the map in 2023, it's all green. There is hope. There is hope because we have more people who are concerned about how public finances are spent. And at this particular point, allow me to appreciate all the budget facilitators and champions in the room. If you may, please stand up. These are just a representation of colleagues from across the 47 counties who work day and night on matters public finance, who are working with their communities, who are engaging and continue. Please, you may have your seats. We have more people who are engaging in these matters and making them their concern and their interest. When I started in this space, one of the comments that I heard many times, and I have continued to hear even within my time at IBP, is that budgets are complex. Budgets are complicated. And some of us carry that framework, that sentiment from our second president, who asked, what does Wanjiku know about constitutional making? And therefore, people have sometimes been asked, what do common citizens know about public finance? These are complex matters. But every day I have conversations and I listen to people across this country, I get a sense that budgets are not complicated. Because everybody does not need to know which budget is for healthcare, but they know that there is money that is allocated for healthcare. They know that there is money allocated for roads. But 2 days ago, I got a very illuminating conversation, and my colleagues may have heard this. So I have a 13-year-old son who I love so much. And in the evening, we were debriefing about his day, and he told us how during school they had a mock campaign for a president, and each of them was campaigning, basically selling their manifesto. what got my attention is that they were debating issues ranging from taxes, debt, the president's trip to the US, appointments in public service, and whether they are done on merit or not on merit. But what was most interesting is that the winning candidate had demonstrated an understanding of balancing fair taxation and quality public services. What did that tell me? It told me that this conversation is no longer a complex discussion. Our children are discussing this. And if you don't believe the devolution conference, the Children's Devolution Conference that happened last year, I think for the first time, and with the support of, among others, UNICEF, who are present in the room, so young, not just young people, children debate matters that affect them. What does this mean? It means that people, these are matters that are now in the child's voice, in the child's mouth, and therefore we have now crossed that level. We can only now get to the better levels of improvement. And therefore, that's precisely what we continue to do. But why do we do this work? Is it because we have nothing else to do? Is it because we like bashing government or disturbing government? We are not the Tom and the Jerry, or rather the Jerry in government who keeps poking. No, we do this because we believe our society can be better. We believe that our country can be better. We believe that citizens can make it their business to know how resources are being spent and be contributors in that. And for us, that means that we are working towards building a more equitable society that is not only transparent, but is also participatory, that is accountable, and that provides public services for all. Because at the end of the day, when we are in our homes, when we are in our villages, what matters most and what can save us in a case of an accident is not your health insurance card. It is whether the health facility that is nearest to you works or does not work. And we saw that during COVID. And we have seen more and more citizens rise to the occasion to debate and question PFM proposals and actions, to offer alternatives, and to defend priorities. 10 years ago, we adopted for ourselves as a country a devolved system of government. And the objects of devolution, particularly those in Article 174, continue to be our guiding star towards a more equitable society, towards a participatory framework, towards ensuring that those who are least in society get provided for public services. But it is, while that gives us the objects that we should be working towards, it is the 12th chapter of the Constitution that gives provides the wheels to deliver on these objectives, basically the public finance management section. And we hold that while government has a responsibility to deliver on the public services, the citizens have a right to make their contribution to the governance of the same. We have seen the results, and they are amazing. Today is a day of many fasts because we have passed the 50% mark of the index. We are now at 56. We can only go higher. It's also a day of another fast, that we have no county that has not published information. I don't know whether you have an idea what that means. For those who were slightly older, if you went just about 15 years back, you will remember that all budget documents were big, bulky books that you had to go and queue at government printer. First, you had to wait for the Minister of Finance to read the budget speech. And then I was at IEA, Institute of Economic Affairs then. Then you had to send somebody to be waiting at the government printer because they will not sell it until the finance minister finishes his speech. And there is this day I remember, that must have been either Saitoti or I forget who it was, who read the speech until about 6:30. He read for 4 hours, from 2:30 to 6:30. It was a 4-hour speech. It was a long one. But that was on a Thursday. Parliament will start debating on Tuesday the following week. So we will get those books. We will go and try and photocopy them, try and scan them. By the way, there are no smartphones at that particular point. And then try and transfer that data, sometimes just type it, do analysis over the weekend, and provide a memorandum by Monday. Never mind the number of translation errors in that process. And therefore, when we see information available on your smartphone, by the way, when we talk about publicly available information that we are talking about today, it's information you can access from your smartphone. Right now, you can actually go to Kwale County and confirm whether all the documents we have talked about You can go to the Bungoma County, and the governor is here, and confirm. You can go to Makueni County website and confirm whether the documents we are talking about are actually present, and they will be there. But as we look into the future, we are keen to push the needle of accountability, even as we work for greater transparency at national and county level. We appreciate that this work is supported by a battery of budget facilitators and champions who work with their communities. It is supported by many government officials who continue to do the right thing, even under immense pressure. And we appreciate those people. But one thing that pleases us as IBP Kenya is that by the end of this year, we will have a budget facilitator in each of the 47 counties. That's something to appreciate. We are now training the last cohort. We had done 36 counties. We are now doing the last 11 counties, and there will be a budget facilitator to be able to work with their communities in each of these, in this county. And we are truly appreciative of the many colleagues who have worked with us, of the many development partners, if I went into the list that will take forever, who have helped us to decentralize and to engage in this capacity. As for IBP Kenya, after 12 years of active work in Kenya, it's time to rise to the next level of engagement. And we are keen to build a more collaborative space for budget work. We are keen to engage more deeply through sectors and different themes of budget work as we work towards a truly transformed and progressive society. But we are also keen on supporting, more spaces where we can develop ideas, where we can try different models of innovation in budget financing and approaches. And I'm pleased to let you know that in the coming weeks, we will be letting you know what shape that will be taking. We will be announcing it publicly. But what about public transparency in the national government? Some of you may be asking, but why don't you guys bother about national government? Worry not. Our colleagues at the International Budget Partnership Global do an open budget survey that is conducted by IPF, and I've seen IPF colleagues here. Ndirango is right there. They are the researchers here, and we'll be launching it next week on 29th globally, and we'll let know the date for that. That looks at the national government and how the national government is also being transparent on the same measures, of course, a bit differently, but on the same measures, because we are keen to push that needle. And with that, I want to invite us all to be the champions of transparency. You all have a badge that says, I am a champion. Please do not go and lose it. Go and keep it among where you keep your important things, where you keep your SIM card. Kama watu wa iPhone watasema nowadays there are no SIM cards. We use eSIM. Aya, wachana na watu wa iPhone. But please keep it somewhere that you will constantly be reminded that I am part of this movement, and let us continue to engage. Today we want to create more time for interactions, so we are going to be moving the program a bit faster, and it's now my deep pleasure to invite Dr. Shaheen Nilhofer to speak on behalf of our development partners. She is the UNICEF representative to Kenya, and UNICEF has been a key partner in this work. She will speak on behalf of the development partners, and then I'll be coming up to invite the rest of the guests. Kindly. Let's appreciate her as she comes.
Thank you so much. I'm Jambo. Excellency Governor Bungamo, Deputy Governors present in the hall, all the county officials, the national and county government officials, dear Dr. Abraham Rugo, all the members of the IBP partners, campaigners, or what they call the facilitators and the champions, all the officials from different ministries, the embassy representatives. A very good morning to all of you. And hongera sana to IBP team for this wonderful exercise that you take to undertake year after year, which is necessarily very, very empowering. And Dr. Abraham, your story about 13-year-olds, it gives us a lot of hope. When 13-year-olds speaks about budgets and challenging and taking us to account for, it speaks a lot about we're on the right track. The parenting has gone right. So really big thank you for that. And And really interesting to hear the comments that many of you spoke about, what next, so what, and what if. And I think that's a very important milestone that IBP has reached at a point in time, but it's also good to see, the landscape of Kenya moving away from blue and reds to more and more increasingly occupying the green space. I mean, it's not just about scoring a tick on climate change, being carbon negative, but it is also about, meaningful change it wants to bring about. These discussions and conversations is all the more very relevant in current times as we speak. And as you're all aware that, and as Kenya as a country, while we do, in terms of a GDP, a progressive incremental, growth, but yet at the same time, we're dealing with the physical space, constraints in the physical space. We're talking about increased taxations. We're talking about what it means for poor people, what it means for those who are already below the subsistence economy. So I think it was very, very relevant for those comments to talk about is budget transparency is alone sufficient, right? And I think this was a very important first significant step in that direction to ensure that the bedrock of any democracy is about having an engaging citizens who are engaged in the process of their democratization, supporting governments to move into that trajectory. But it is also important to understand while there is to account for from the duty bearers, but the right holders are equally important in terms of ensuring that they are actively and constructively engaging in these processes of public participation. It is not about taking governments to court. It is about ensuring that your responsibility and what you're accountable for is equally being in that space operated with the same zeal and enthusiasm that we seek accountability of the government. But I think it is an important first significant step. It is also very important to say that when when the map looks all over green, so where do we go from there? And this is where it comes to the whole issue about on the equitable quality, equitable services to where it matters most, but it is also about accountability, which is a both-way, two-way traffic. So it's been my pleasure to be here, be a part of this launch. I was here last year, and I've also seen your work on ground during my field mission, and it gives me immense pleasure, but also feels very empowered with just the sheer world of possibilities that it presents before many of our development partners, to see that how this helps in the processes of what we're talking about, what it means for increasing budget, but it also means that what does allocations, those decisions about increased budgetary allocations must also translate to expenditures and social sector investment. And so therefore, the county social sector expenditure budget would progressively is an indicator for well-being and growth of its citizens, of its children, of its women, and the vulnerable population. So just about budgets, allocation, increased budget allocation, while it is an important step, but equally important is about expenditures and how this expenditure connects to the results. So this is about a commensurate process that I'm sure the IBP would take into consideration. I know the scope and the demand and the pressure as it becomes more and more green on the IBP is to increase and expand the scope of ensuring that the social sector budgetary allocations at the county level also increases. And I'm sure when your own source resources, budgets targets are not met, when the physical space are getting increasingly hugely challenging, it poses an equally more pressure on the people. And at today's time, when we look around, it is not just about the demand for increase in budget, but it is also about protecting the commitments that the government has already made. We know that we are facing a challenge about budget cuts and vaccination for children. We know that there's an issue about withdrawal of the temporarily or otherwise on the school meal programs. It is therefore, how do we ensure that we protect the commitments on the budgets that were being made for the country for the well-being of the children? So it is that trajectory that I hope that this exercise will lead us to the next step, to ensure that we are talking about overall well-being and growth and prosperity. We know the countdown to SDGs is just about 5.5 to 6 years from now. And so therefore there are multiple number of key sustainable development goals which are slightly off track. They're off track not just because there is an issue about not having commensurate budget, but it is off track because it really requires the whole of systems approach to come together and to support government. And it's a doable proposition. It's not a rocket science that the Vision 2030 of Kenya would be constrained if budgets are not commensurated. Budget is one important element, but other is all about what you're doing in terms of engaging a constructive engagement of citizens' participation in the processes at the county where the action is felt most and the action is needed most. So let me join IBP and all of you in highlighting some of the key results which has already been mentioned. And I noted about the switch in the loyalty by John. You're wanting to now go to a better off, county. But I thought we were talking about transparency. So let's accept that something's not going well, that we need to help move forward on that. But let's also see that the counties are becoming increasingly transparent. I've seen the color coding. They're jumping from 41 out of 100 points to 56 out of 100 points year on and year on as compared to what we saw in the previous years. So there is an acceleration in the progress that we've witnessed, and we see that this signals a positive trend towards a more transparent and open budgetary processes. We've also seen that the 2023 finding shows 38 out of the 47 counties have improved their scores, driven by an increase both in terms of availability, completeness of all of those documents and reference resources that is available for public to really look into that. And also the number of counties which made all required budgetary documents available has increased from when you started from 3 to 13 is telling a story. Telling a story not just because you needed to be accounted for, but it is about genuinely ensuring working towards a meaningful, progressive change that one would like to see. And also we've seen that 10 counties have steadily improved budgetary transparency over the past 4 years. And I take this opportunity to once again congratulate the Kwale County government and also Mukuneni and Bungoma governor present here, and all the top 5 on the top 10 counties who've really done very well. And that number seems to have increased what we've seen. And we saw that in 2022, only 8 out of the 47 counties had published all their, quarterly implementation reports, which seems to have now increased to 25 out of the 47 counties. So there is an engagement, not just about the people, those matters most from the back of the beyond, whether we're talking about the Asal in the north or in the northeastern region, where often information is not necessarily easily available. So therefore, all these improved results can be attributed to a stronger partnership between IBP, the champions and the facilitators, but also the county administration. So a lot of that credit also goes to the officials in the county administration for making this information available when it is needed most. I would also like to bring to your attention the fact that as we measure in terms of the expenditures leading to results for children, for women, for the larger citizens, which also we needed to see, the burden, the liabilities and the burden on some of the issues that we're grappling with in country, whether it is to do with out-of-school children, whether it is to do with neonatal mortality or under 5 nutrition, or issues around teenage pregnancy or adolescent mothers. All of these issues are about to be benefited when the public gets engaged, community gets more and more engaged in the processes, not just about ensuring that the budget transparency is being made available to them, but they're actually an equal participants helping and supporting the local governments and the national governments and the county governments in addressing some of these issues. Once you become a partner, then you equally share the responsibility of addressing some of these issues. I know the time is short, so let me conclude once again congratulating the IBP team, the champions and the facilitators, and great to see. And I now understand why in the registration you've asked about the age categories. So huge kudos to those who are below 35 for all your wonderful work. And you have a long journey ahead in life. And I'm sure the 47 facilitators that you would be soon going to engage would be equally a very important resource for the counties to work with. So thank you once again, and congratulations for all the wonderful work that you've done. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We appreciate. I'm sure you are wondering, who are these IBP Kenya people? Are they old people? Are they among those guys I was talking about? And the person who gets this right will get, did I just say will get a gift? How many people do you think work at IBP Kenya? No, and you know the people I cannot give a chance to answer. How many people do you think work at the IBP Kenya office? Just shout. You know too much. So you busted. But that's it. We are actually 15 people. And until recently, we were just about 7. So all this work you see is led by a team of young, agile. So I'm going to ask them to stand. They will take a photo later. But please stand. All my colleagues, please stand in a place you can be seen. You know where you are, you can't be seen. Please all stand, my IBP colleagues. Yeah, so this is the team that does the work at IBP Kenya with a mean age of about 27. So we are all very young. I'm the oldest. So now you know. Let's appreciate them for the job they do. You also notice that their sizes are significant. It's the pressure. It's not me. It's a work pressure. So really appreciate. At this particular point, we would like to appreciate all the government officials who are here, particularly the county government officials. During these launches, we give the pleasure of the colleagues, particularly the deputy governors present and the governors present. So today, I'm going to invite, and we also give the honors of the MC of that session to the winning county. And this particular day, the Kwale County Government is represented by His Excellency Josephat Chirema Kombo, who is the Deputy Governor. Please appreciate him. He will come make his remarks. We should have given him a standing ovation. They are 81. They have an A. Let's appreciate them. Thank you so much. So he will make his remarks and invite Governor Kenneth Lusaka, after which we will go to the launch of the report. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Daktari. Excellent governors who are here, I'm informed that we have only His Excellency, the Governor for Bungoma. It's Bungoma, Doctor, not the other one you were mentioning. The DGs who are here, of course, our host, Dr. Rugo of IBP, national government and county government officials, development partners who are here, the members of the fourth state, ladies and gentlemen. Is it morning or afternoon? Good morning. Let me say that we are very grateful to first this session of us assembling together to appreciate our work, because this is our work. And standing before you is the Deputy Governor Kwale County on behalf of our able Governor, Her Excellency Fatuma Achani. May you clap for my governor. And I see the women clapping very hard. Can you repeat that? And of course, I'm the Major General behind her. Can you clap for me? Truly, I didn't carry any speech because we are fated for public participation. And you know, public participation is not about reading a speech. So I thought it's good we engage in a few minutes. But the greatest weapon we use as a county is, of course, the Constitution of Kenya. And of course, acknowledging Article 174 read together with 175, the principles of devolution. And again, taking into consideration Chapter 12, which is the public finance. If you are very keen in reading these articles of our Constitution, they will remind you of what we are supposed to do as governments and as organizations. So basically, us as a county government, first we say, we congratulate ourselves, but I say kudos to our team that has managed and made us to be, number one, getting an A grade, and I'm very sure we'll be joining university for the best training course, if that is what it takes. Let me introduce to you the team behind us. Of course, I've come with my able CC, Hassan Bakari Sebe. And I have the Director Economic Planning. Can the quality team be upstanding? Yes. Hassan Bakari Sebe has been in government since inception, 2013. And one of the secrets of running governments is institutional memory. He's been with us, and he has really guided us on becoming the best in terms of observing fiscal management principles. Thank you, Waziri. And this is not the first award. Last year I was in another room getting an award of the same. Clap for Kwale. The other key secret to getting better is a matter of goodwill as a leader. And of course, giving space to each and every sector of government to do its work. Our budget is decentralized, including expenditure. So the money is managed at the departmental level, and us as an executive, we stand also as citizens to ask for reports from the departments, and that is how it has made it very tough for the departments to toe the line so that they remain relevant to the system of governance. We have a very robust CBEF, the County Budget Economic Forum. Don't worry about the sizes, their sizes. But that team, not all of them are here with me, but the culture of involving the Budget Economic Forum in discussions at the citizen level when looking for needs assessment that will inform the budget making process by having the stage of developing an ADP. They have proved to be very relevant, and I thank those who crafted the article and thought and idea of having an economic budget forum at the county level to aid discussions towards helping the citizens understand and make the financial discussions easy at the community level. So that is the team, that is the secret, and I would wish that, and I know that all counties have the economic forums, and it's for me, seated here, I really want to appreciate the Excellency Governor Bungoma for coming back, and I think him having a great understanding of Bungoma County, round 2, it has made him easy to attain to position 3. And I'm very sure, Governor, you will be position 2 because I'm not going away from position 1. The next. So congratulations, Governor, and congratulations to the Governor of Makueni and all of those governors who have scored to the reasonable attainment of marks. And I want to assure each and everyone here as partners, as county governments, do not listen to what is said outside the world. We still have people who don't like devolution. But I want to assure everyone here that devolution is working. And I would want also to alleviate the fears of some other colleagues who are questioning. Yes, dark green or green, so what? I want to tell everyone here that the green translates to service delivery. So don't be worried. We are spending the monies to the best of services that are required by our citizens. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, led by our able doctor here, Daktari Rugo, we want to promise you, as the regional units that you are looking at, that county governments are determined. We serve for the challenges that we are getting. If you could be sitting in our seats, you could understand the sweat that we experience. Ask the governor the last time we had money. We are fighting battles. We have challenges of delayed disbursements. But when the money comes, we say service first. So we know we are in a country that has a number of challenges, financial challenges, but as county governments, we've stood to service first. In whatever case that comes around us, we say at the Council of Governors, and the Governor will allude to this, that the counties are out to improve on matters of service delivery. And I was looking at this. Sometimes you fail to understand which one comes first, transparency or accountability. No, you don't. You are not to respond. But those three together translate to service delivery. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are very grateful, grateful to the IBP. And IBP, you never know, but there is one man, Muragura, I don't know whether he's here, he used to work with the Institute for, where is he? Is he in? Is represented. Of course, that is the guy who sharpened me. I worked as an MCA for 10 years, and I was the chair of the whole house, so you now understand what kind of a person you are dealing with. Then the second term, I was the chair budget committee. So I have hands-on experience dealing with financial documents, and him being the CC, he knows me from that point. I never knew I would again join him to enjoy the stones of the county assembly, but we are managing. So kudos, keep it up, keep tracking us, but I want to promise IBP that county governments are there to serve the people of Kenya. And kindly, as you make noise, as you whip us county governments, I love the statement that you are also about to whip the national government. Whip it with a stronger whip. You see, I'm saying this because a lot of noise is made around county governments. But you people don't know that 85% of the resources in this country are the national government, and the government, I will speak to this. So whip it harder, give us a lighter can, and we will listen to you. With all those remarks, ladies and gentlemen, I again say thank you very much. Congratulations to each and everyone. Partners, don't be afraid of investing with the counties. Give us the resources, we will deliver. It's now my honor and pleasure to invite the governor of Bungoma to make his remarks. Thank you, Governor. And I never knew the governor, I think you told him something before he came in, and that is why he is in green. And in fact, that green is taken my position. Next time you need to tell me the color so that I also match that with my dressing. Thank you very much. Karim.
Thank you very much, Deputy Governor Kwale. Green is also the colors for my party, which is Ford Kenya. But again, I'm also just sending a warning that number one is my position. Maybe before allow me to stand on the protocols as established in the interest of time. But allow me also to introduce the team from Bungoma who came with me. Thank you so much. We are not so many, we come from the border. Kule Busia, thank you so much. That's my chief officer and the team from finance. So, Dr. Abraham, I really want to thank you for this survey. I now understand why you insisted I come. I suspected I may have performed well because they cannot invite you when you are number 47 because you will take it in bad taste. So I suspected I have done a good job, and rightly so. I'm happy, but I cannot take this credit on my shoulders alone. I really want to thank my team in finance and also thank all the other teams that have worked hard. Because as governors, sometimes we come here to take the credit, but the unsung heroes and heroines are those who do the real work. So I really want to thank them for doing a good job and making me proud and all other governors proud to stand here. But of course, the responsibility rests with us. I think the most critical, and we know about budget. Budget is what is very important in any organization, even in your own house. People talk about budget, but they don't know how serious it is. We only just make it formal. But even in your own house, you'll say, wacha nitengeneze ka budget kidogo. You prioritize what you are going to do. That is all budgeting. But I think the most important thing, why we have also performed well, is making sure that people do what they are supposed to do timely, in a timely manner. Because the budget has a cycle. And there are certain deadlines, there are certain documentation, the way we have been shown, that are supposed to be given to certain places. So I know every county wants to perform well. So this is just a signal, and it's good because when you have this kind of survey, like the county that was number 47, who is my neighbor, Trans Nzoia, I'm sure he's very bitter where he is because he's a man who believes in performance, and we worked together somewhere. So I know his team has let him down. It's not the governor, but it's his team. It's his team that has let him down, because when you are not working, you cannot be a winner in a losing team. So I'm sure I want to call upon his team and other teams to also support, do what is best for them. One of the things that we got from the 2010 Constitution is public participation. And it's very important, just like you said, in the past, the budget was shrouded in a lot of secrecy. In fact, I remember one time an assistant minister was sacked. He was called Daniel Moss for leaking the budget. So it is something that was held very closely. You will see that briefcase with the coat of arms. If you snatch that briefcase, I'm sure the minister will not know what to say next. But these days, there's public participation. But again, we also need to improve on public participation, because my own experience is sometimes people take their people who are just going to, they don't even understand the budget process. You take their people who are going to say what you want to hear. And you pay them listening allowance, and that is all. So I think we need to improve on public participation, where Wananchi now can be able to prioritize what they want. And I think that was a takeaway in all this devolution, the devolution space, that people are able to say what they want to do with their budget. And of course, once this has been done, again, we must use the money prudently. We must be able, the budget must be realized. People must realize what the money is now going to do on the ground. And I think this is a good thing. I've just came myself to witness and to take away the award and take it to Bungoma. And I want to assure you that this is a good impetus. We are going to even work harder to make sure that it's not even about being number one, but what is important is doing the right thing. And all of us, if all of us can be green the way they have said, this country will grow. As I conclude, I just want to say this, that this country is made up of counties. Everybody wakes up in a county. So when somebody says, the other day I was listening to the National Assembly saying all manner of things about counties. You know, if you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name and kill it. But I can tell you, if you try to reverse devolution, Kenyans will be up in arms. Devolution is working. There are a lot of things that are happening in our counties. If you are talking about corruption, let us all fight corruption. Corruption is not only in the counties, it's even at the national government. So it's something, a menace that we must all fight. So it's not good to demonize counties. There are counties who had never seen cesarean operations like Mandera. They saw a cesarean operation with devolution. There are counties that had never seen tarmac. If you ask children what the color of tarmac, they will tell you it's green, because they've never seen tarmac. And there are a lot of other things that are happening in the counties. And when all these are put together, when you aggregate them, you find that the country is growing. So if there are challenges, let us face them, let us discuss them as Kenyans, but let us not demonize counties. In fact, I'm proud to say, if you look at the caliber of governors in the whole country, there are people who have a lot of experience. Somebody like myself, I've worked in public service for 35 years. For those who didn't know, I look young, but I'm not young. Having started as a district officer, rising through the ranks to become a permanent secretary, and then becoming the first governor of Bungoma, Speaker of the Senate, and back to the Bungoma County as a governor. That's a lot of experience. I'm just one of them, and there are many others in the counties. So, and even the officers we have brought on board to assist in the counties, they're also officers who have a lot of experience, and therefore it's not fair to criticize counties unfairly. We are not saying that we don't have challenges, or we are not saying we don't have corruption. We have all these things in some counties, but let us not demonize all the counties. Otherwise, I just want to say this is a good thing, and I hope that, God willing, next year I'll come back in total green, number one. I'm watching Kwale very, very closely. I will be number one, and that I can assure you, I'll be number one. Otherwise, I'm very happy. Thank you so much. We'll improve on areas where you have pointed out. And even as we go back, since I'm here, I'm also the chair of Agriculture Committee. As I will go back to COG, I think I'll convey the message that you have given to us as COG so that we can see how we improve our counties. May God bless you with those remarks. Thank you.
Good, and with that, we deeply want to appreciate the work that we are doing. We are very much aware, and as I think my colleagues mentioned earlier, the role that government officials play. One of the things that I have, I confirmed both, initially I held it as a conviction, later I confirmed empirically when I did my PhD study, is that there are many government officials who continue to do the right thing. And sometimes we don't celebrate them. Not sometimes, most times we don't celebrate them. They are not the ones who make our headlines. Our headlines are made by the ones who are doing funny things. You know, the ones who have taken, is it 800 million from a county and have had to surrender back. You know, but there are many people who do, and I pray that everybody in this room is in that category. I'm going to move us to the next level. I'm going to invite my colleague Cuba, as Cuba comes, so that we can be able to get to award the certificates and then finish with the launch. We will award all the counties that have got different categories, so just bear with us. With that, I'm going to ask Shaheen to join me here on stage, and I'm also going to ask Margaret Komen kindly. You are not expecting it, but please join me here on stage to help me issue the certificates, because all the others will basically be issuing from the county officials. Cuba, please, over to you. last year.
Good morning, everybody. In the interest of time, I'll also say all protocols observed, but it's a pleasure to see all of you here today. My name is Cuba Houghton. I work for the International Budget Partnership. I am also a junior CBTS researcher in the ranks, but it's great to see what this has materialized into. So I actually have the easiest job of the day, which is to celebrate all of us, particularly the counties that have emerged as exemplars or exemplary examples of good budget transparency practices across the different regions. And how we're going to go about doing that is we're going to give out certain awards in certain categories. And so what's going to happen is that for each award, I will call up a county or counties. I think one of the great things is seeing that even for each of the awards, there's at least more than one county in some of them. And so once I do that, the representatives of the county government, if not present, then the facilitators or champions in that county can come up to the stage and receive the award on behalf of the county. So in the first category, and this category looks at the most comprehensive documents produced out of the 11 or 8 budget documents. And we have a county in each category. So for the County Integrated Development Plan, the county that scored or that had the highest comprehensiveness score or had the most comprehensive County Integrated Development Plan was Makueni County. You can have representatives. A delegation from Makueni County. Thank you. Thank you. So alongside Makueni County, the second county with the most comprehensive County Integrated Development Plan was Lamu County. So we can have the delegation from Lamu County. Great, thank you. So still within the category of most comprehensive key budget documents, we move on to the annual development plan. And the county that produced the most comprehensive annual development plan of all 47 counties was Kwale County. Thank you, thank you. Moving on to the County Budget Review and Outlook paper. It's more of a reflective and outlooking paper. And from across the country, the county that emerged with the most comprehensive County Budget Review and Outlook paper was Kakamega County. So please, the delegation from Kakamega County, please come up. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Moving on to the county fiscal strategy paper, another budget document that shows up in the formulation stage of the budget cycle, equivalent to the budget policy statement at the national level. We have the county with the most comprehensive county fiscal strategy paper was Nakuru County. We have the delegation from Nakuru County. And I'm reminded for the third time in the last 4 surveys, congratulations, Nakuru County. Yeah. All right, thank you, thank you. Moving on to the approved program-based budget, which is one of the more popular budget documents as it lays out the budget for the coming year. There are 2 counties in this category. And the first county with the most comprehensive approved program-based budget, otherwise known as the PBB, was West Pokot County. We have the delegation from West Pokot. Thank you, thank you. Still within this category, for the most comprehensive approved program-based budget, we also have Nyamira County. The delegation from Nyamira, please do come up. Karibu sana. It's a rather large delegation. Thank you, thank you. Moving on to the most comprehensive citizens budget. And again, this is a bit of a citizen-facing version of the approved program-based budget. There is 1 county in this category, and that county is Tana River. We have the delegation from Tana River County. Thank you, thank you. So moving on to the next budget document, which is the Finance Act at the county level. I'm sure in the recent weeks we've all been quite alive to the debate at the national level about the Finance Bill and Finance Act. So this document is also produced at the county level. And in this category of this particular budget document, we have 4 counties scoring 100 out of 100 points in the comprehensiveness of this document. Near perfect, dare I say. The first county within this category is Mombasa County. Thank you, thank you. The second county with the most comprehensive Finance Act was Kajiado County. We have a delegation from Kajiado. Karibu sana. Thank you, thank you. The third county to score 100 out of 100 possible points on the comprehensiveness of the Finance Act, returning to the stage, Nyamira County. The delegation from Nyamira. Thank you, thank you. Asante sana. The final county within this category that produced the most comprehensive Finance Act was Laikipia County. Please, the delegation from Laikipia County, welcome to the stage. Thank you, thank you. And now to the last key budget document, the County Quarterly Budget Implementation Report, which is produced in the implementation stage of the budget cycle. There's only one county in this category that scored 83 out of 100 possible points on the comprehensiveness of this budget document, and that is Bungoma County. Right, thank you. Moving on to the next category, finishing off with the budget documents. The next category is quite special. It is named the most improved category, and this particular county is being recognized for the consistent improvements that they've made in budget transparency across all 4 surveys. That's 2020 until today. And this particular county has actually moved its budget transparency score from 0 to 70 in a span of 4 years. And for this category, we'd like to award Narok County. Is there a delegation from Narok County? All right, we will ensure they receive this great award. And now moving on to the category that we've all been waiting for. I think we've already alluded to it in the presentation of today. And this is the category of the top 3 counties. In third place, with a score of 81 out of 100 points in the overall County Budget Transparency Index of 2023, is Bungoma County. Yes, kindly the whole delegation, please do come up for this award. Karibu daktari. All right, thank you. A clarification there, their score was 79 out of 100 points, possible points. In second place, for the most transparent county of all 47 county governments in Kenya, we have Makueni County. The score for Makueni County was 80 out of 100 possible points, 1 point away from the A category. Another round of applause, please, for Makueni County. And last but very much not least, the most transparent county in Kenya's CBTS 2023 survey, with a score for the first time ever of 81 out of 100 points, being the first county ever to enter into the A category as is scored by the CBTS. Drum roll, please. Kwale County. Thank you. Another round of applause for Kwale County. At this point, I'd like to hand it over to my colleague John to do a few more awards. Thank you.
So the last two certificates are for recognition of work that has gone into this survey. And as Dr. Rugo mentioned, the process of doing this survey is definitely a lot of labor of love. And we want to recognize the colleagues who lead this work and all the reports that you will read over the next few days and few months as you dig through the reports. So we want to recognize these colleagues not only for leading the process, but also, as you will see from the raw data that goes up on the website, is an Excel sheet and a half. So they do a lot of good work thinking through the tools of the survey, thinking through the methodology of the survey, thinking through helping all the researchers, so many of them who play this role, but also making sure that the quality of the work that goes out is definitely swept through and is clear from the beginning to the end. So the first person we want to recognize for the role, especially in the 2023 County Budget Transparency Service, Cuba Houghton. So Cuba joined IBP and immediately joined the research team, and we threw him right into the deep end of the survey. So a lot of the things you see in this survey have also been a big contribution by Cuba. Thank you very much, Cuba. Then the next person I want to recognize is our lead researcher for this survey. The guy who speaks the least in our office. He's very quiet, but the guy who does the magic happen. So I want to recognize my colleague Kipkorir Biegon. Kipkorir does an amazing job in continuously making sure that we are innovative in terms of how we understand budget transparency across the country, but also how we communicate it with our county counterparts as well. So thank you very much, and you can now have your seats. For KIP and Cuba, today is the day you go and see Rugo and say today is the day to be appraised. Today is the day you want to make requests. So thank you very much, and I'll pass it back to Faith Ann. Thank you.
Thank you very much, AMS and your team, John, Cuba, and Kipkorir, and to all those who have been awarded, congratulations, and I hope it's only upwards from there. To those who were somewhere in the middle, you are not doing so badly, but you are not at the top. I hope next time there is motivation to come up here. I was really excited when I stood with Nakuru, so I understand what you're feeling at this point. So I will take what is written on this lapel pin very seriously, that I champion budget transparency. So it is the moment we have all been waiting for. We're going to officially launch the 2023 County Budget Transparency Survey. This is the fun and interesting part of this session. Dr. Ams.
So first we need to patent this Dr. Arms so that then nobody else uses it. It's my name. Ukiniona kando nitakuelezea. I'm going to request my colleagues on this table, the governor and everybody on this table, kindly join me on this end. We launch the report so that then we can start the conversations. Yeah, just come with me. So you just all eyes on this right side of the, I think that table will move a bit because of the photos.
So even as the photos are being taken, there are some booklets that are being distributed around. I'm being told if you scan the QR code at the back or somewhere within that document, you'll be able to access the main report that has been uploaded up on the website, and also other accompanying documents that come together with the County Budget Transparency Survey report. So we also have an accompanying health modular piece. So it's basically a brief that assesses how transparent counties are with regard to how they present information under the section on health, the health budget section. We also have a module on supplementary budgets and just assessing how open counties are with regard to making supplementary budgets available. And we also have a modular piece on timeliness as regards budget transparency. Okay, so I think we can now declare the County Budget Transparency Survey 2023 officially launched. This is the point we clap. Towards the end, if you want, you have the chance to take a photo at that rotating booth, please. So we've come to the end of our session today. My name is Faith Ann Kinyanjui. I also work at the International Budget Partnership. I have been your MC for today, and I must say it's been a pleasure. Allow me to invite my colleague, Abraham Ochieng, who will give a vote of thanks to appreciate each and every person who has been a part of this, either by attending or just by contributing to the overall report. And he will also be closing the meeting for us today. So over to you, Abraham.
Thank you very much, Faith Ann. And congratulations to all the county governments and everyone who has been part of this forum this morning. My task is very simple. I know Cuba said his was the simplest, but mine is the simplest of this engagement. So yes, let me try and move this. And indeed, as Faith Ann has said, my name is Abraham Ochieng. I also work at the International Budget Partnership Kenya as a program officer, where I lead the advocacy work. And as I said, my task is simple, just to appreciate each and every one of us who has graced this occasion, both here physically and those who joined us virtually, to make this a success. And first, I'd like to start by thanking all the county governments that were present this morning, or that are present this morning, starting with West Pokot, in no particular order. West Pokot County, we have Kwale County, Nyamira County, Makueni County, Bungoma County, Kakamega County, Kajiado, Tana River, Lamu, and Machakos County. So all those counties were present this morning, and we have seen the various awards that have been given. And we really thank from the representation from those counties. We also have other government agencies that have been present in this launch this morning. So we have representation from the Council of Governors, which has indeed been more than just a partner in terms of dissemination of all the results to the counties has always been done through the Council of Governors, and we really appreciate the support that they have offered in this particular process. We also have the Office of the Controller of Budget, the National Gender and Equality Commission, the Commission on Administrative Justice, the Parliamentary Budget Office, and the Senate, which is represented by the Senate Liaison Office, which has also played a very critical role in linking our engagement with the Senate. We also have our development partners, or partners who have supported this process, and we want to thank the UNICEF, led by the UNICEF representative in Kenya, and Uraia Trust, and the National Endowment for Democracy, who have actually supported this particular process. Other partners that we also want to appreciate is from the Royal Norwegian Embassy and the Institute of Public Finance as well, for the support that they have given. Also, two special people who helped us through this process. I would like to appreciate our sign language interpreters. So we have Yola Nzale and Sylvia Muturi, who have been with us. You've been seeing them. You can still see them on the screens, and they've done a remarkable job.
And finally, I'd like to thank, there's a special category of counties as well that have shown tremendous improvements, and it's good to just recognize. And these are the 4 counties that had 0 scores, but they jumped into like significant. So we have Wajir County, which moved from a score of 0 to 7. Finally, Kajiado, which moved from 0 to 73 points. So we really want to thank all of you and everyone, each and every one of you who's in the room, and virtually once again, for taking your time this morning to share in this wonderful occasion. And with that, I'd like to just welcome my colleague Irene, who will now direct us in terms of how we'll be taking a few photos of the day. So Irene Niva, karibu sana. So she'll give us, Irene leads our communication work, and so she'll just give us direction in terms of how we will take some of the photos. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Irene Niva. I also work with the great team at IBP Kenya, and I'll be closing the list of the simple tasks that we'll be performing for the day. So at this juncture, I'd love us to take photos, and this is a very remarkable CBTS for us, and we'd like to capture photos with everyone that attended this particular CBTS. So for starters, we'll have our Executive Director, Dr. Abraham Ruko, and all the development partners who funded this work that we've been doing. So we'll have the representative from UNICEF, the Norwegian Embassy, and Uraia Trust. I saw a representative from IPF, Nirango. Please come to the stage kindly. So you don't have to leave the stage, we'll just keep adding people to the photos that we have. So please maintain your positions. What you'll do, you'll just take a step forward. For this juncture, we can all the county government officials that are left can also join. The governor stepped out, but we also have the delegations that were present, so they can also come on stage and add to this particular photo. All county government delegations, please.
I see the governor is also here, so all counties. I saw representative from Lamu, Mombasa, Makueni. So we'll just keep adding to the photos as the team comes. So thanks a lot for all the county government officials that joined the forum that we had today. We have Dr. Rugo on stage, and he'll be joined by the government agencies that we have. So as mentioned, representatives from COG. We also have representatives from the GEC. We also have representatives and even the Senate liaison office. So they can also join for the photo. You can give them a hand just to encourage them as they come. Thanks a lot for gracing our launch today. We'll move to the IBP Kenya team. So for those who are in, please come on stage so that we can take the photo. Since the research is done in collaboration with the budget facilitators, I'd want to urge all the budget facilitators to join the IBP Kenya team stage. So there's a request and do the regional hub photos. So we'll start with the team from the coast, and then we'll go, then and then Rift. So coast hub. Any county government officials from the coast? Either of the 6 counties in coast? Yes, I see one. I see a couple, so feel free to join this photo. Thanks a lot, the Coast Regional Budget Hub. We'll move to the Lake Region Budget Hub. And this is a very large region, so it comprises of the counties that are in Western and Nyanza. So if there are any government officials from that side, please also feel free to come and join the photo. We'll move forward. The team Nairobi, Eastern, and Central. So for that, for the county government officials, it's those who come from the eastern side. So the Makueni, Kiambu, Embu, Tharaka Nithi, all those counties. So if there are any county government officials, please feel free to also come on stage. Murang'a, Machakos, Nyeri. Okay, the Kajiado team can also stage. I see a few county government officials, so we can have all from that particular region coming on board. Thanks a lot. We'll proceed now to the Rift Valley Region Budget Hub. So that comprises of counties like Nakuru, Elgeyo Marakwet, Nandi, West Pokot, Baringo. So if you have county government officials, I saw one from Nakuru. So you can also join the photo. Thanks a lot. We'll move to the last regional block, which is the new kid in the block. The from Wajir, Garissa, Turkana, Mandera, and all the counties in the northeastern side. I saw Isiolo in the neck hub, but you can also join. Okay, so this is your photo. If we also have county government officials from the region, please feel free to also join the photo. Okay, I think that's it for now. We will try pull a group photo for people who can come on stage. So please, if you're seated, everyone, or everybody who didn't come, I didn't see a few people in the groups that we called. So we would want to have you captured in this particular photo. So everybody, feel free to come to the stage now. As Professor and Dr. Rugo and Kip take the photo, please feel free to also start coming. Jafar. Nelson, Osman at the back.
I will invite anybody who wants to take a photo here. Please come now. If you have not been called in any of the groups, we will do it the way we do it. Our photographer will figure it out. Kindly come. This is the last photo and we go.
Thanks a lot for taking photos. So there's still food outside. We also have other points of photography. So we have the booth outside, the icon boards, the launching booth, the stage here. So feel free to take additional photos where you'd want to. Asanteni sana.